Here, the Ghost Hotel in St. Kitts. You can see the weeds are growing almost across the road here now. They actually did a pretty good job of the concrete in here, but you can see how the grass is growing almost all the way across. This is an example of I call it the Ghost Hotel, the hotel. It got almost totally completed, and they never finished it. My understanding, I talked to a developer here, and he said that they never finished the plumbing and the electrical inside. It looks like from the outside everything's finished. They've even got curtains in here. Nobody's moved in here though, that I know of. I mean, I've come over here several times, and it's just, there's no cars up here, so I know they're not living here. Now, you might have some squatters over here. They're monkeys and stuff like that. But this place is really thick woods. This was built by a company called T-Loft, and I always get Pirate's Cove and Pirate's Nest mixed up. They're right next to each other, but we'll just call it the Ghost Project. And I'm going to tell you how you can avoid nightmares like this when you come to St. Kitts. This is not the first one. This was going to be a Radisson. Remember, Radisson, don't get fooled. Radisson just sells their name, and you know, for a project, doesn't mean that Radisson's running this. Hilton had the same thing with the Pelican project, and that thing never finished. And the thing that you got to look at to keep from falling in this problem, and it was right after this happened that the government here in St. Kitts started requiring escrow accounts. And I don't even know if that can fully prevent this, but I'm going to show you how to 100% prevent problems like this when you go in the real estate option. First of all, if you're going in a new development, my advice is, I don't care if the guy's lived here his whole life, wait until it's developed, and don't let people try to tell you if you get in early, you can get in before the price goes up. Don't fall for that, okay? That's one thing. The other thing is, if you're going to pick a developer, make sure, it's a steep hill here, kind of a bit windy here, is make sure that the guy has lived here his whole life, and it should be finished, okay? And you might even want, if you're not gonna, if you've got people that are already moving here, you might want to talk to some people who just moved here, or at least some renters, because most of these people, I'll tell you, this guy wasn't from here. He was from Hong Kong. And according to his workers, he had done a lot of business there. And you can see the curtains up there. Nobody's been here. There's no, the parking stuff is on the other side. I went over there. There's nothing there. And the other side is even worse. The other side is like a dirt road, and it's grass growing up everywhere in there. This will eventually be like that. This was probably finished about 5 years ago, maybe 6, 7 max, right in there. But I don't know if they finished selling all the units out or what, but there's probably, my guesstimation is around 300 units. I'm just guessing, here and on the other side. There's a lot more on the other side. But again, is make sure the guy is from here, or he's lived here at least, I would say 20 or 30 years, and he's got a lot of assets here, so you can do something, if attach in a lawsuit if there's a problem. But again, like I told you, the way to get around that, don't go in a development that's new, okay? And I'll tell you, the safest way is to go in the home program and get a house that's already been built for years and somebody's already lived in it. That way you know it's finished. You don't have to worry about this. And the best deals right now are in the home program anyway, cost per square foot. You're not going to get it from a developer. In fact, sometimes if you would just wait and let the place get built out and then buy a resale, you can usually get a lot better deal. A lot of people try to rush in. This is what happened with Evergrande there in China. That was the biggest developer, went bankrupt. And you got loads of people that bought and their units never got built. You know, they were basically, it was almost like a Ponzi scheme. They were using new dollars coming in to put into new units. Basically, it was set up just like a Ponzi scheme. And I don't know what this was, but Evergrande was set up that way. But this guy here, I don't know why he didn't finish. I mean, according to the workers, this guy was pretty well off. But again, this guy was from Hong Kong. And most of the people were people getting citizenship from China. And see, I actually did some videos about people to contact me that maybe bought out here. Maybe we could get a list of people and try to sell these, you know, for a real stupendous discount, and let people go in and finish up whatever's needed to be done. The problem is, I did around 2 videos and got no calls on it. The reason is probably most of these people can't speak English. They're from China, and they don't. When they do Google searches, they probably can't pull up anything in Chinese on this. So these people are virtually out of their money. They've got to be really pissed off over this. But again, the way to get around it is to go get something in the home program that's already been finished. It's got all the kinks out, the electrical plumbing's working, and again, like I said, your cost per square foot is going to be a lot cheaper. This was actually high cost per square foot, and then on top of that, they lost their money because unless there's a group of these people that come in, and what the government should do here is get the names of these people and try to get this thing where it's working, or either try to sell it, because this is going to be eventually a mess in another 10 years from now. And it's going to be it's just bad. You know, when you have a development like this where people have lost their money. But again, now they do have an escrow department in St. Kitts, and they're supposed to basically divvy out money to the developer as everything's finished. But then you're dependent on whoever's doing the inspection to come up here to see that all these units, you know, are actually really working correctly. Now, hopefully they've got that knocked out. But again, like I said, don't depend on the government. You should be you're better off just picking a unit that's totally built. And again, your best deal is going to be in single family homes. They're going to be more expensive as a whole, but your cost per square foot is going to be a lot less. And you know, again, the minimum to get citizenship in St. Kitts now is $600,000 under the home program. If you buy a single family home, for condo it's $325,000. And for one person on the government fee, you only pay $25,000 US, versus if you go in, you know, where you're doing a donation of $250,000, and all that $250,000, none of that comes back to you. Okay, and they've got some really good deals down here. You just got to look. This one might be a good deal if you ever find out who the owners are. But they would have, the problem you have here is getting everybody to come together. You know, that's the key, and getting these people all in China. I didn't get one call on it. That just shows you what sort of communication there is on these people. And maybe somebody's contacted them, but I have not seen one article in the newspaper. Nothing at all has come out on this development. And I call it the ghost hotel. Okay, the ghost hotel, if you want to refer to it. And this, again, this was supposed to be a Radisson project. But folks, again, you know, if you're looking to get property, stick in Frigate Bay. This is Frigate Bay. But again, stay away from people that haven't been in St. Kitts for a long time. They're just popping in, popping out. And make sure the units are finished. And again, like I said, you're better off, if you really want to play it safe, buy in the home program. It's a lot better way to go. And also, folks, if you can do us a big favor, we don't monetize our channel. It would help out tremendously on the algorithm of our channel if you like our videos, give us a thumbs up. And also, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. You'll get new videos automatically as they come out. And I would like to hear from you. If you got a question or comment, put it below. And you can go to our website, www.citizenshipquickly.com, if you want to legally get your income taxes, how to get a second passport as quick as 4 months to a year. One thing about St. Kitts, no income tax, no capital gains tax, no estate tax, no inheritance tax. And there's almost no property tax. You're looking at 0.20% of the purchase price with a $29,600 US exclusion before that 0.20% kicks in on your property tax. So you're almost paying nothing in property tax. You're going to pay about 12 times more in the property tax in New Jersey than you would here. That's how cheap the property tax is here. And again, also, if you want to have a local company here, the government here, this is the only country I've seen do this. This shows you how much the government really stays off your back here. They give you a choice whether you want to fund Social Security or not if you're self-employed owner on a local company. Offshore company doesn't make any difference, but on a local company, you won't have to pay Social Security on as far as the owner goes. If you have employees, you will have to fund theirs, okay? Now, Antigua requires the owner and the employees to fund Social Security. You're required to do it if you set up a local company in Antigua. St. Kitts gives you that option where you don't have to pay that. That's a big difference when you don't have to pay that. Okay, so these are some things that I would be looking at. And I'm going to be just walking down here and just going through a few other things too. Now remember, there are other fees are involved. You do have a background check fee for each person, and also there are fees for the passport. But your big fee is the fee for one person, which is $25,000 on the government fee. Again, if you're going to get citizenship in St. Kitts or Nevis, stick with St. Kitts. I've done videos on that. You can look at that. It explains why you want to buy in St. Kitts versus Nevis. So many reasons why. I'll just tell you one thing right here. There's 3 companies that do hurricane shutters in St. Kitts. There's one in Nevis. And I'm going to tell you something. Sometimes in St. Kitts it's hard even to get one of those guys of the 3. There's one in Nevis. So you're going to have all kinds of problems if you've got hurricane shutter problems. And remember, St. Kitts has got about 4 times more people than Nevis. So it correlates almost anywhere from 3 to 5 times more people that are contractors, electricians, everything that you can think of, doctors, dentists in St. Kitts versus Nevis. And I'm going to tell you that when competition comes in, if you get somebody that's bad, you don't like working with them, what's going to happen if you run out? If there's 2 people that do that, and you have a problem with both of them. This is the issue right here. And when you don't have competition, people just show up late or don't even show up at all because they know you got to work with them. There's nobody else you can do business with, okay? You don't want that. This will drive you nuts. These are things that people don't think about. You want to be in a place where you've got, plus it's a lot cheaper in St. Kitts than Nevis because everything comes through here. You got an extra boat trip to deliver food, everything over there. So that's added to your cost on everything. So what you want to try to do is minimize your cost, minimize your aggravation. You want as many people as you can use for that service or whatever you want to do, and it keeps you a lot more your costs down. You want competition. You don't want it where you've got almost nobody to deal with. And again, there's no income tax, no capital gains tax, no estate tax, no inheritance tax here. And so if you're looking to set up a company, and again, you don't have to live in St. Kitts. I see so many people setting up companies in Dubai. I had a company in Dubai. It was the biggest waste. You can do the same thing and get the same results with just your cost factors and taxes across the board. Fees, everything is a lot cheaper in St. Kitts than Dubai. You don't have to live here. You can have your company here and not live here if you want to do that. It's a great place to live, but if you just want to have your company here and you want to use the benefits it has, because your license and fees here, you're looking at 500 EC for an average license. Some are less, some are more, but that's about the average. That's $186, $180 US a year. And that's almost nothing, you know? And then there's no income tax after that. Now, if you are a U.S. citizen or a U.S. resident, you can qualify for the foreign earned income exclusion, overseas exclusion, and it's $130,000 for husband, $130,000 for wife. If both of you decide that you want to have a business together, or you can have separate business or whatever. And the great thing too is if you set up an offshore corporation, a foreign corporation, if that company pays you your salary, there is no FICA tax there. By the way too, I want to show you the other part of the Ghost Hotel just while I'm over here. You see that gold building right here? Well, the big building behind it, there's just tons of buildings back there. There's probably 300, maybe 400 different people, I'm just guessing, that bought in here. Now this one is actually still active, the one with the yellow. That was sold many, many years ago for, I think, maybe for citizenship, I don't even know, but the one behind it is the Ghost Hotel. That's the other part up here. And that road gets to be really bad. It's like nothing, it's just weeds growing up in there when you get any further up higher. So there's hundreds of people, several hundred I know, that lost in here. It's a mess. Again, if you're looking to maximize your fees and taxes, because these are two things you're going to look at, is not just taxes but fees. If you go to Dubai, man, they're going to hit you with fees like crazy, and you got really high licensing fees, several $1,000s for a license US, and then you got local service agents you got to pay for. Now you can avoid that by going to the free zone. But the problem with that is those licenses are actually even higher than the local licenses are. And you've got to go back in Dubai every 6 months or they'll cancel your visa there. Here you can set up a company and take off and leave and come back in 5 years. They don't care. You just got to pay that licensing fee once a year. It's really, really inexpensive. But these are some things I'm telling you. So many people go to Dubai and they don't know what I'm telling you right here. And remember, so many people get confused with their company and where they live. You don't have to live here. Take advantages of the taxes, the licensing fees, all these things that you're getting cuts on, and then just live somewhere else if you want. I'm just showing you ways that you can cut way back and benefit from these great tax laws they've got here. But these are the things you want to be looking for. Also, if you get a chance, when you go to our website, www.citizenshipquickly.com, look at the top bar where it says flag theory. This is what you want to be looking for when you're getting passports. You want to get a passport in a country that either doesn't have an income tax or has a territorial tax system or has a non-dom system to where you literally can control your taxes either at zero or close to it. Okay? And these are the places you should be looking for when you're trying to get a second passport. You want to get something quick, but you want something that's got really good tax laws. That's the key right there. Again, you can go to our website and get more information at www.citizenshipquickly.com and just ask for some help, and I look forward to talking to you in the next video. Take care.